what does failure have to do with creativity? People, they say they want creativity, but when people start talking about risk and failure and everything, like they'll be afraid of failure, they're like, yeah, maybe not. They don't want to do the work. And they don't want to take the risk. Why? Why do so many people not want to take a risk? Why they don't want to do the work? I think it's because America has put bubble wrap on everything. It might have started with the self-esteem movement. We all want to feel good about ourselves. And nobody wants to fail. We want to feel good. I have failed fantastically many times, quite publicly, any number of times in my life. And I think people should, fail fearlessly, because you can't fail if you're not doing anything. But if you go through life, so for any of you that are parents of younger kids and you bubble wrap your kids' world, they never fall, they never fail. You try to keep them from every cut and bruise, and you overprotect them. Then they don't take risk. I can't get too near that because, I might fall, I might do this, I might do that. There's got to be a line between common sense safety and common sense decisions and an opportunity for failure or exploration or taking a chance. There's got to be some line there. And that goes into, after you follow the self-esteem movement, you get into now everybody gets a trophy. So if everybody gets a trophy, or in my last video I talked about everybody passes school because you can't get lower than a 60 in some schools. So if everybody graduates from school and everybody gets a trophy, then why should you risk it? You're guaranteed success, right? Your whole 12 years of school, you're guaranteed success. And this even extends into university. Here's a story for you. So I had a student, didn't show up for 2 months. Out of a January through April semester, didn't show up for 2 months. Didn't turn in work. Didn't really have any real excuses. There was no extenuating circumstances, nothing. They weren't in a car accident or in a coma or something. They just weren't there. They didn't turn in the work. It was a 0. And I'm a very flexible professor. Can give me something, an outline, anything, give me something great, nothing. Well, so then they fail. They want to know why I gave them an F. I'm like, I didn't give you an F, you earned an F. You earned an F by not doing anything. They take it to the dean of the school and the department. And they come back at me, can you please just grade a little more leniently with the student? I'm like, well, I could if I had something to grade. Here, let me show you. There's nothing to grade. I can't grade leniently if I don't have anything to grade. And it came back to me a couple times. The student literally had the balls to fight not to fail, but they were fighting after the semester instead of during the semester. They were just shocked they would get an F. Like, you didn't do anything. But now looking back, I'm like, oh, well, they've been taught their entire life growing up that they don't have to do anything and they're still going to succeed. And if you just assume that you're always going to succeed, then why do you need to risk, right? Because you're going to do fine. Now, there has to be risk and there has to be consequences. But within creative processes, the risk is not failure in creative processes. The risk is learning. You learn how not to do something. You learn maybe you didn't like to do this kind of stuff in the first place, and you kind of change up your focus and you shift, so you learn a little bit more about yourself. Or maybe you really did suck at baseball and you shouldn't have got the participation trophy, but if they hadn't given you the participation trophy and you really wish that you would have gotten the first place, then you can have two choices at that time. Do I want to put in the work to be a better baseball player? Or do I really am not that interested in baseball and I want to play an instrument? It's okay. You learn a little bit, but when everything is bubble wrapped, nobody makes mistakes, everybody wins, nobody fails, then people don't learn how to take risk. And they don't learn how to tolerate the failures. Failures, instead of becoming a learning process, become catastrophic, this thing to avoid. And I feel like as educators, we can, especially with art educators, you can create opportunities, low risk opportunities, where you can try something new and maybe you fall on your face. Great, you tried something new, now go try something else. What did it really cost you? Maybe your pride, but I feel like that's part of the problem. Why people aren't, or why people kind of instinctively know that they're not being as creative as they could be. It's because creativity is a very multifaceted concept, and it's not just one thing. And one of the things that's going to take into consideration is, if this idea doesn't work, are you going to be able to tolerate the fact that the idea didn't work? And then you are forcing yourself to try another idea. And can you tolerate it if that idea doesn't work? How bad do you want the idea to work? How many times can you fail before you're like, oh man, I'm devastated. I'm personally devastated that I did not figure this out in 3 tries. And you quit. So when people say risk and creativity, they don't mean that you risk one thing or you risk it once or twice. And I'm talking in everyday life here, just trying something new. And then you don't get it and you quit. We're talking about a commitment to failure, a commitment to knowing that I really want this. I really want to do this project. I really want to paint a mural in my house, or I really want to learn this thing or something, whatever it is you want to be creative about. I really want to distinguish myself on my team by being able to put forth ideas that they're not thinking about. Okay, well, you're going to have to put forth some ideas, and you're going to have to let them reject your ideas. So how many times can that happen before you quit? And how many times can that happen before you either decide that, man, I just don't have what it takes, or man, what is it going to take for me to get what it takes? Because you reach this point when you're failing a lot, and you have to make that decision. How bad do you want it or not want it? And it doesn't have to be a huge thing. It should just be a little thing. What does it mean to you? So creative types, people that have creative personalities, may not necessarily be any smarter than you or more creative than you. They just are willing to risk putting it out there. That's why that happens, where you see something, you're like, I could have invented that. I thought about that years ago. Yeah, you did, but you never put it forth. You never risked everybody laughing at you and saying that's a dumb idea. So risk, I don't think, can be overemphasized as a part of creativity for adults, for anybody. So yeah, don't be afraid to fail. Don't be afraid to reject your participation trophy. Don't be afraid to have the worst drawing in class. Come up with something different. Because when you fail, then whatever you did didn't work. You have to come up with something different, or you have to quit. Come up with something different, try again, or quit. So the more that you do that, and the more that you can do that in little ways, and the things where the stakes are low, which means you're not at a big conference or convention or business meeting, or something that the stakes are very high. I mean, like if you fail this, if your idea tanks, then you're done. That career, that job, whatever, that client. But just little things. I'm not going to sit here and list your little things. I don't know what you have in your life, but I'm sure you can think of something that you kind of have a little bit of an idea you'd like to try or do, and you didn't. Maybe you should rethink that. And if you fail, own it. Own it. Because you tried. And a lot of people say, oh yeah, you tried, like it's condescending. It's not condescending. It's like, well, did you try? How many times did you try? Well, at least I'm trying, and you're not trying. So I feel good about it. I feel good about it when my students try and fail than I do about the kid that's sitting there, and even if they can draw very well, they never extend themselves or push their capabilities. And it's the same way if the person is intelligent and they're putting forth ideas. I'm like, yeah, I know, but you already got like a pretty set repertoire here you can pull from, but when's the last time you learned something new? Can you push what you've already been given? Can you take it farther? Because if you're not taking it farther, you're not really risking it. So yeah, I don't think you can separate risk out of creativity, but I don't think you should fear it, Fail fearlessly, and I think that you will experience more creativity, whatever that means to you or looks like for you in your life. I think you'll open yourself up to more opportunities for that if you can learn to just tolerate the risk and the failure and not see it as a bad thing. So thanks for joining me, and I'll talk to you later.